We're live! Hello! I am Jill Vito for American Songwriter, and you are on the internet right now. If you look near the top of your screen, you'll see a tab browser. It probably says Twitch, maybe even something about American Songwriter. It's because you're in the right place. This is Off the Record Live. Today we're coming to you from Starstruck Entertainment on Nashville's legendary Music Row. And joining us is the delightful duo, the Wildcards.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Thank you for having us.
Ashley and Andrea.
Yes.
How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're very good now that we're with you.
Did y'all
And you
hear
all.
that? We're all going to have a good time. We are going to be to give a show rundown for everyone. We're going to start with our icebreakers like we always do. Then we're going to jump into the icy waters of conversation. We're going to learn everything there is to know about the Wildcards. The whole time, you at home will be able to use it in front of you in the real world, your keyboard, or perhaps digitally on your screen if you're using some kind of keyboard-less device. But you will be able to type in questions and send them here. We'll be able to see them. We got an awesome little cat cam for Catherine, our wonderful moderator, to bring the questions directly to us. So if you got something you want to know at home, you can send it in the entire time. But first, let's get to know y'all. Let's break the ice a little bit. Okay, I'm going to ask some little questions. You guys can get us to know you more. Night owl or early birds?
Oh,
Depends on what day it is.
we prefer to be night owls.
That is absolutely the preference.
But we have a lot of early mornings and we're on tour and we lean on each other, I would say, because we're miserable in the mornings.
And face mask.
Yes.
There you go. Well, it's good to have someone
Starbucks.
else that you can, share the misery of the morning with.
Yeah, I'll do the morning, early morning drives to the airport because she doesn't really function until she gets Starbucks. And then we get the Starbucks.
And sometimes we're in the middle of nowhere and there isn't one, so she drives until we find one.
And then we
There you
switch. And I'll take a nap and power back up.
There you go. Going on coffee. That's amazing. All right. Do y'all prefer calling or texting?
Texting.
Yeah.
Do y'all use emojis?
Only emojis.
Only emojis, which is a very effective way to communicate.
yeah.
Our current favorite is a lightning bolt.
The lightning. I was gonna ask what the go-to
Yes.
emojis are. What else are in your greatest hits emojis here?
Ooh.
The sweating smiley face.
That's a good one.
Sweating?
Yes, that's
it a sweating one?
expressive. It's kind of like that. Woo.
The sobbing one.
That's expressive too. That's really
Crying
good.
laughing one.
Yes, those are all great. It augments language in so many ways.
And then the champagne bottle,
Oh, a lot of the
you
little
gotta
glasses,
celebrate.
the cheersing glasses, we do that a lot.
It's good to celebrate, folks. Oh my gosh. Okay, remote or in person?
For what?
For anything. We can talk. I mean, we live in this new world. I mean, if you're going to be working, like if you're writing songs, do you prefer to go into the studio, be
in
there with
person.
people?
In person.
I mean, can you imagine if we had to be remote with you today?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same.
be the same.
It wouldn't be the same.
I think we are people. Does that make sense? Is that even a thing? We love to be around people, but in the modern age of technology, we do appreciate, the remote stuff. But it's good to be around people and hug.
You can't replace it, folks. It is really good. If you guys had a time machine, would you go to the future or the past?
Oh, you answer first.
You go back to the past, watch Laguna Beach.
I love. We were just talking about the 90s.
We started taping here. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably for me, I wouldn't want to necessarily go into the future and rush the future. I would go back in the past and relive some fun memories.
I think I would go in the past as well. There are a lot of historical events that would be interesting to see how they actually
Yeah, she's
played out.
a history buff. She's smart.
Oh my gosh. Do you have like a go-to historical event that, like, if you could see it in the flesh, you'd want to go see it?
Well, I think a lot of them are battles, so I don't know if I'd really want to be there.
Wouldn't even be like in the nearest big city. You can get the ethos of it all.
Where am I protected? Am I like a little space bubble for this? Then
No, you're dropping right in. It's
You're
a
in
hard drop. So
I'm gonna have to think about that a little longer then.
Woodstock.
Yeah, there you go. I feel you too on going to the past versus the future. If you go to the past, there's a good chance that you could be like smarter than other
Yeah.
people because you have the
That's a
knowledge of the
great
future.
point.
If you go in the future, you're not gonna. I mean, unless things. Who knows?
Buy
but,
Apple
you know,
stock.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's.
Oh, that's a good historic event to go
We
to.
can go back and just get really rich.
Set up
Yeah.
some Swiss bank accounts.
I like that.
Okay, flying.
She's in charge.
Flying or road trips?
Both, I would say. We do a lot of both. I think there's something really cool about a road trip because we really enjoy stopping along the way. We go eat and see things wherever we are. But flying gets you there quicker, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little both. We find ourselves where we get sick of we fly too much,
Yeah.
and then all we want to do is get in the car and not deal with the
Yeah.
airport and people.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in the car for a couple of days
Yeah.
and say,
Yeah.
oh, all I want to do is fly home.
Yeah. Happy medium of both.
Yes, the yin and yang of life. We're learning
Yeah.
it all today, folks. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Welcome.
Do y'all cook? And if you cook, like, what's your favorite dish to cook? Like, what's, if you're gonna have like a special night where you're gonna cook something, what do you cook?
I make pasta all the time.
I'm Italian. I love the pasta. You
We
can't go
also
wrong.
love air fryers.
Air fryers.
Do you consider putting chicken nuggets in an
Yeah,
air
that's
fryer?
our favorite
Oh, chicken nuggets in an air fryer.
We're big fans of, the air fryer. It reheats things very well.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it came in clutch during the pandemic. So air fryer gourmet is what I do the most.
Hell yeah. The air fryer gourmet. It sounds
I
like
hope
a
it gets
cookbook
sponsored.
in the making. Oh my gosh. I've never used one of those before, but they seem amazing.
Oh, we'll do it. We'll show you.
All right. All right. If you were baseball players, what would your walkout song be?
American Woman.
Cashmere.
Oh, all right. Two classics. Y'all had those lines up ready to go.
Because we may or may not have already talked about that, except for
Related to a completely different
gonna say it.
topic. Don't say
I'm
it.
saying it.
Wait, now I gotta know.
Disclaimer
So-
banner.
We said we have these kind of questions all the time with our band. We'll be like, okay, if you were a stripper, what would your stripper song be?
Oh.
American Woman.
Oh, there you go. That's the question I should have been asking this whole time.
I understand that you
Yeah.
didn't want to just come out and say it, but we went there. We went there.
Well, now we got to get Jelly Roll back on and see what his answer is. We get Struggle Jennings
Cat?
in here.
Cat?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow. Okay. City or countryside?
City.
City.
All right. That's
Yeah.
a good answer.
I grew up on the edge of country,
Farmland, baby.
so now I'm ready to do the other side of things.
And I grew up in Massachusetts, but in an area where there were a lot of tobacco farms, and it was super beautiful. And I think there's a time to go out, and it's very restorative to be out in the countryside. But we're busybodies in a lot of ways. We like doing stuff and
Convenience.
convenience.
Oh, yeah.
Uber Eats.
When our air fryers
That's
are
true.
worn out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You all got answers. You got reasoning. This is fantastic.
We have a lot of free time.
We have to do a lot of justification for some of
my
our
gosh.
choices.
Okay, well, this is the big question. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks?
Snacks.
Breakfast.
Okay.
See, and I don't even eat breakfast.
You don't even eat breakfast at
No.
all. You just go.
I try, but it takes me some time to warm up.
well, you're not
to wake
morning
up in the
people
morning.
if
Yeah.
you're waking up in the morning like here
Yeah.
in Nashville, you're just in town. What time do you usually get up?
It just depends. I mean, I'll sometimes get up early and do a workout and get the day started, but I feel like we don't really get rolling until like 11.
That's good.
That's
yeah.
horrible.
You got to get the body up
That's
first,
horrible.
and then your mind will wake
Yeah.
up later.
Exactly.
All right. All right, so now we're going to start our final descent out of icebreakers into the water of conversation with what was the first music you each bought with your own money? Like you bought a record or bought a CD or something.
Well, for me, it was always classical music because that's what I started with on violin. So it was exciting to go and, get an Itzhak Perlman CD.
Oh, yeah.
Tape. A tape. I don't know if I had a tape player growing up, but I don't know. My grandmother used to take me to Walmart, and she would say, "You can get anything you want. What do you want?" And I would always just go to the CD department. It was everything, and I was also a big fan of classic, just stuff that my parents listened to. I think The first album that I wore out was Carole King Tapestry.
Oh, classic.
And yeah, and it really just like set the stage for a badass female just owning her shit.
Yes!
You know?
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's amazing. Okay, well, similar question. What was the first concert you each went to?
Mine's kind of embarrassing.
Mine is, again, it's going to be classical music answer. So
Hell yeah.
Itzhak Perlman.
Yeah, you got it. You got
You're so cultured. I mean, I'm more cultured because mine was NSYNC.
I got to wear a hot pink. I got to wear a hot pink like ruffle dress to go
I wore
see him at the
Birkenstocks.
St. Louis Symphony.
Yin and yang. It's why it works.
Oh my gosh. Now, if only there was a collaboration between Itzhak Perlman and NSYNC.
Well, we're about to do it right now.
The best of both worlds going on there.
I'm surprised that didn't happen during the pandemic already.
I know.
Straight up. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, welcome to Conversation. We have made it through the icebreakers. I will
Are you bored
quickly
yet?
throw it to the Cat Cram to see, do we have any questions coming in from chat, Cat?
We do. We have some questions coming in. So Music Fiend 124 wants to know, how did you come up with the name Wildcards?
Ooh. Go ahead.
Well, we're
We're so boring. That's why.
well, we have been in a few different projects together, and we have always been, well, and even projects apart.
Yeah.
And people always say, you are the wild card of this bunch. And then when we were playing together, they were like, you two are the wild cards of this bunch. And so we just kept hearing that over and over again. And so when we were trying
AKA
to...
the troublemakers.
Yeah. And so we just decided that that was that was the whole theme
Yeah.
our foundation was built on, so we
Yes.
just stick with it.
We have, just like a motto. It's like good vibes all the time. And
I can feel it, folks, so I can attest.
And we don't really I think that it could be a really dangerous place when you start to overthink yourself or overthink this creative process. And so for us, we like to consider it a little bit wild, and we, as you can tell, have a wide range of music love for all different genres. And we just don't really ever want to be put in a box. We want to kind of keep recreating and using that good energy and good vibes, and it's kind of wild.
There you go, folks. It's the ethos. It's all there. Oh my gosh! Wow. Do we have anything else from chat we'd like to throw at the moment, Kat? I'm finding there's something here with chat cat.
We love Kat.
Going on. Some kind of like.
I love that. Creation.
Yeah.
We have a lot of comments in the chat just talking about how they love the energy here. But we have more questions coming soon.
Keep telling us.
All right. All right. Well, now we're going to really dive into the main course of our conversation today, getting to know Ashley and Andrea. And I want to start by kind of getting a bit of background on both of you all, kind of where you came up, how you both came to even find yourselves as musicians.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to start with Ashley.
Sure.
What was your upbringing with music like?
Oh man, I stumbled into music, as I think a lot of people have, where it just was a part of me at a very young age. I started singing in school and in church when I was in elementary school. And then it kind of turned into people asking me to sing for their weddings and their funerals or like just a bunch of crazy things around town. And they would start paying me. And I would just be like, oh, no, it's fine. But then they're like, oh, no, we insist, And my mom's like, what is going on, And I started just kind of doing it more and more. And there was someone from Nashville that was visiting, actually going through one of the radio stations with another artist. And he said, have you ever thought about coming to Nashville? And I was 10 at the time. And I didn't even know what Nashville was. So long story short, came to Nashville. I got a record deal with Disney and instantly kind of kicked into the music industry and released some songs and had a really cool start to my career there. And, it just evolved into a lot of different programs and, groups that I've been amazed to be a part of. And that's kind of what led me to Andrea. And being a solo artist for so long, it was super rewarding and fun, but being able to get up there with one of your best friends is the icing on the cake for me, because I can experience the lows and the highs with someone else that's just as passionate about what we're doing. And it just makes it so much more enjoyable. So the Wildcards is kind of the ideal situation for me because we can just be in it together.
Yeah, totally. Well, even before we dive into anything else,
Yeah.
it's so interesting to hear you talk about like your very, very early origins of music and talking about something like singing at like weddings and funerals.
Yeah.
Those are like powerful gigs.
Yes.
I'm sure from an early on age then you were seeing the effect that music can have on people and getting to know
Absolutely.
that intimacy that it
Yeah,
carries.
and I was so young that I just purely looked at it as people would ask me why I did it, and my response was, because it makes people happy. And that is such a pure, like childlike response that I never want to lose. You know, you get into the music industry side of things, it can get pretty gritty. So just reminding yourself that like music makes people happy, and that's why I do it. And it kind of brings it back, you know, from all the craziness to just a simple thing.
Yeah, totally. And folks, if you're taking notes at home, you just heard the Wildcards are all about good vibes. So there's threads that are going through this
Yes.
entire story here from childhood on.
Yes.
That's amazing. Well, Andrea, you mentioned multiple times your classical background. What can you tell us about your upbringing with music?
Well, my mom was wandering around her college campus and saw little kids with violin cases. And she said, I am going to have 4 daughters and they're all going to play the violin. And she did.
All right. That is goals
She knows what
and
she wants.
execution. Yeah.
Catherine, don't mess around.
She's
She's probably watching right now.
Yes, hi. She marched over to the music department and said, what does it take? She wasn't married or in any kind of child planning at that time, just career planning for future children. And she went to the music department and said, what would it take for me to have a kid in this program? And they said, well, you have to take 2 years of violin lessons. So eventually, when she got pregnant with me, she started taking violin lessons.
So
And so,
cute.
because you have to be an at-home teacher too. So I started my first lesson when I was 2, and
2.
so I was like a little baby robot. And what's been so fun is kind of like
Cutest.
leaving all of that, you know, the crazy rigidity of classical music. I remember the first time that I ever played in front of a crowd, not like Ashley. I was playing weddings and doing little things, and she was doing it for the joy of it. I was like, how much money will you pay me? I was doing it for the enterprise.
Sometimes I, you know, can get into, and then she's the joy, and then
Like,
we
how
flip
many
back.
songs you want? $50. But yeah, so I mean, that kind of led me through to wanting to, you know, doing all that, you know, very stiff classical stuff. I thought, well, what would it be like if I was in a band? And so the first night I was on stage in front of people, I was still playing like a robot. But there were 3,000 people in this country club in St. Louis, and not country club, like, but I mean boot scooting boogie kind of line dancing country club. And it was wild, and I thought, this is what I want to do from now on.
Yeah.
And I made a little money too, so
It all worked out. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow. Well, at that point, when did you end up in Nashville?
I ended up in Nashville. Ashley and I have been here for about the same amount of time. And, you know, because I think there was a lot of going back and forth first. And so after college, I knew that I was going to have to move here if I wanted to keep working and build a career. There's only so much. I mean, there's great music scene in St. Louis, but there are limitations.
Yeah, well, at that point, what can you tell us about, both of you, about Nashville, and specifically the time that you all spent here kind of navigating the community and the industry before the Wildcards kind of began as like a project? What was that time like? And I'm sure it had to have been just like a crazy learning experience for both of you in each of your own ways coming from your backgrounds.
It still is a learning experience. I think every day, it doesn't matter how much you know about the business or about this town. There's always something new, like Twitch coming out. Yeah, we're figuring it out.
That's you, folks!
you.
That's you!
We have a Twitch page. Follow it. I don't know if we don't know how to follow you back, but we're gonna figure it out.
They're gonna figure it out!
But play the wild card.
Intern.
And yeah, we're gonna recruit Michael. But I think that this town, there's just a magic that has happened. You know, ever since the first artist decided to record on Music Row, there's a history, there's an essence to this town where they, you know, tell you never to give up on your dreams, and they mean it. There's such a community here that even with the great growth that Nashville has had, I mean, we don't recognize the streets as much anymore because there's like
I've been here 4 years and I barely recognize anything.
it's crazy, the growth, and please don't move here, just visit. But we don't want the traffic to be bad. But it's just so fun to be a part of that history and that change, and we're really, really proud to call Nashville home.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so now we've set the scene. We've built some foundation of who you both are. Tell us about specifically when y'all met and what like the early days of your relationship was like, and how did that blossom into a creative collaboration?
Instant love at first sight.
The first time we hung out was at Red Door East.
Oh gosh, for a birthday party. I don't remember that night very well.
I don't remember a lot of it either.
Like most good nights, it's gone.
And I just remember like this short little blonde thing was drinking everyone under the table, whatever, out of the bar. I'm like, who is this Spitfire wild card? You know, and we instantly just like became partners that night, and we're like, okay, we're hanging out together.
When I was trying to get you back together with your, at the time, ex-boyfriend.
And he was there, and
it was one of those moments where like, hi, who are you? Oh, good. You guys should get back together.
Yeah, I like you. I think he was our designated driver.
He was.
It's all happening.
Be safe, folks. But anyway, that night sparked something, I think, within us, and there was another opportunity for us to creatively collaborate. We were in a band together that traveled the country and the world called Farewell Angelina that we were super proud of, and it's just...
We became cultural ambassadors of the USA.
Yes, together.
Really?
So that's an experience that we went to Malaysia together.
Don't tell them about Red Door East, though.
Yeah, don't tell them about that.
Oh my gosh.
No videos.
They'll take our stripes.
Yeah. We just been through a lot together. I mean, we've traveled together. We've been in the smallest towns together and the biggest cities together, and instantly felt just really partnered up. And I think that, you know, the definition of true partnership, where we really do help each other, we root for each other, and we know each other's strengths and really want to amplify that so that the world can see we're each other's biggest cheerleaders as well. So
we also go on vacations together,
yes,
too.
we do.
Oh,
sometimes
that's
our
important.
families come with
Yes.
us.
That's
Yes.
very important.
We like to have a nice work-fun balance. More fun, actually, than work, but it's fine.
Well, that's really interesting to hear, too, that y'all were able to kind of foster that relationship and that creative connection in an atmosphere where it wasn't quite the same pressure of like, we're a duo, we're going to make a record, we're going to put it out. You were able to like tour with other artists and get out on the road and do all of that.
Yeah, it was very natural evolution, like very.
So when did that evolution start kind of coming into the next level of like, oh, let's give this a name. Let's like start like really writing together.
It was pretty much the pandemic, I think, was like a force for us to, we didn't have a lot of other things going on and a lot of distractions. So we still wanted to be creative. We still wanted to create and do stuff, even though we had close to 100 tour dates cancel. So that really gave us a platform to, we just like would sit in my living room once or twice a week and see what happens. And people started calling us and saying, will you come play my private event? Will you come play my party? And we're like, no, we don't, no. This is just a like fun thing that we do on the side.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah. But I think that a lot of people, and this, I don't know if this is like advice for artists or anything, but people can sense when there's so much pressure on what you're doing and when it's forced. So we really try to keep things super natural and good vibes and, you know, not overthinking much. We just kind of go.
Yeah. Well, on that note, what can you tell us about working together? Because clearly you've had the experience of being a solo artist and being from the classical world. That's like a whole other beast of itself.
Yeah.
Well, and I've been a fiddling, singing side person with a ton of different artists. And Ashley's had all these, you know, solo record deals. And then I started really trying to put together something. I wanted to be in a band that was like the Dixie Chicks. That was my dream, and I wanted that to happen because I love the music that they put out, and it was so much like, you know, the fun.
Chicks.
Yes, the chicks.
The change.
The girl power. I know.
True fan.
But those, you know, I think the individual experiences that we've had, and you know, I've been in a ton of different bands, and we both really knew that we wanted to do a band having had that experience. Because I think there comes a point where you're like, I think this is good. I don't need to be in a band with anybody. I can be a solo artist, or I can just go out on the road and play with somebody. And I think as we started really like digging in on the songwriting aspect of things, we're like, there's a sound here that we didn't even know we would really produce together. And so that kind of, drove us to the next space.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's kind of like one of those whole is greater than the sum of the parts type situation? Are you able to access a different headspace with like bouncing ideas off each other, or have even just a sounding board to just talk about things, not even musical ideas, but just...
Yeah, we have the same brain when we need to, but we also kind of take turns. Like one of us is the responsible one of us is the wild one, and then we switch. And then,
whenever you get the Starbucks.
Exactly. It's exactly it, It's, we really, are great. It sounds even funny to say business partners, but we are, and it's just very functional. And, but, we can let the guard down and say, okay, we need to step back from this when it needs to be more fun.
We're natural collaborators, I think. Regardless of anything that we would be doing, I don't think that our personalities are necessarily the lone wolf personality that just goes and does everything themselves and writes every song themselves and produces it and everything themselves. So it's so nice to have someone that can say, I don't think that that's going to be good enough, and we need to, or would you mind doing something else here? And we can do that with each other with a brutal honesty that isn't brutal because we don't take any offense. Like, we're both in it for the same thing, which is to create the best we can.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, that spirit is certainly, it's palpable when you listen to the music that you guys have out already. I mean, there is that free-flowing, just good vibes, energy, and a really resounding message of support and like kind of like supporting each other and like Light On and Pour Wine. I mean, both of those songs. And it's just, that's what it embraces. It's like a big warm hug listening to it. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to talk more about that collaboration. But first, I'm going to throw it to the cat Cam, the cat chat Cam.
She's so cute.
It's interesting.
Questions?
Yeah, we do. It's interesting, Joe, that you mentioned Light On, because we have a user whose name is Roses, but spelled with an underscore. They want to know how or what is the story behind Light On, and how did you create it?
Oh. Well, I'm so glad you asked. This is cool, by the way. This Twitch thing, I think
Did y'all hear that?
You guys are cool. You're pretty cool too.
Y'all did you hear that? That's the more important thing to have heard, is that I am cool.
Light On was something for us that, we had it in a moment of when we were being really creative and writing. And it wasn't until the pandemic that we realized, oh, this is a message that people really need to hear, of just support. And we've been so supported by people in our lives. And we kind of sing it to each other every night because...
we fight over who gets to be Kenny and who gets to be Dolly.
Yeah. You could be Dolly. But... It's one of those things that, like, when you're in the trenches with someone, in a business or in a relationship, in a partnership, there are a lot of high highs and low lows, and that's really bonded us, within our partnership. But
and sometimes we laugh in the middle of it if we've had a bad day, like a tough day
or
on the
cry.
road. Like me and you.
Yeah.
It's just us.
It's just us. No one gets it. But it's just a really, back to that do music to make people happy thing, where it's just we want people to be able to connect with the lyrics of our songs and feel it. And that's why we, on our Spotify and on our YouTube, we didn't really have an album yet. But we're like, okay, we want to put out Pour the Wine and we want to put out Light On, so that, and they're a completely acoustic, raw, just tracks, and it's showing just who we are. And then we'll slowly be able to reveal more and more what the Wildcards really is all about in the future. But we're like, we just have to get it out there so that people know and can feel the vibes. You just got to listen to the song. So.
Folks, it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out. So after this broadcast,
yes,
you go listen to it. Or you can stick around and you can hear some of it live here in the studio. But before that, I'm going to throw it back to the cat cam one more time to see, do we have any more questions we'd want to ask?
We do. We have one from Jen Miller Says Hi, who wants to know, how do you guys approach launching a new project like the Wildcards?
She's really smart, and she does a lot of things, and I just boss her around sometimes.
I think you're the one that's the inspirational idea.
I just downloaded Twitch, okay? I just go for it. I made us a TikTok too, but just follow.
And you followed American Songwriter.
I did.
That's how easy it is, folks.
Follow American Songwriter.
That's how easy it is if you haven't done it already.
Yeah, they were like, you followed us. I'm like, did I do it right? And but we're on Instagram the most. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram, play the Wildcards us on Instagram. But we
let the music lead it.
Yeah, we just do it. I don't even know how to answer that.
I think it's just kind of like once we decided to, it was about creating materials.
Yeah.
So we went and did these live videos and took the tracks and said, wow, this is pretty good. We can put this on Spotify, and this video could go up on all of our socials, and we will start the band like that. And that way, you know, we're kind of bringing people in with the music rather than it's just, I don't know.
It's a natural, I keep saying the word evolution, but it really is. And like, it's the people that are tuning into this broadcast and the people that support music and want to follow on Spotify and YouTube and all the socials. I think that it's just really important to remind consumers, listeners, people, that they have the ability to really change artists' lives by tuning in to a live stream or commenting with questions. It's, you know, that support that music lovers can give to artists. In a lot of ways, it's, you know, the energy that it gives us to keep wanting to create. And, you know, tell your friends about it, and, you know, tell your family about it. When you like something and you're able just to create that natural, heard it through the grapevine, grassroots thing, it can change the trajectory of artists and music. And it's just like this whole community that we just are, I think it's just beginning for us. So that's really exciting for me.
Yeah, and that's such an exciting thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And you at home watching this stream right now are helping. We're all part of it. It's a big web of
we love
connection. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're going to go to an ad break really quick. But when we get back, we're going to have the delight of hearing some Wildcards music live in this studio right now after an ad. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody.
Welcome back.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Andrea.
And we are the Wildcards. And we're going to play some live music for you. We got our friend Tanner here. We're going to start with a song that we found really convenient during the pandemic when we were bored.
It's cheaper than therapy.
This one's called Pour the Wine. 3, 4.
Girl, you look like hell. I guess that's where you've been. You know I hate to say, but I saw it coming. I got 2 boxes here. They're stashed under the sink. One's for wiping tears and the other one's for drinking. We got all night. Girl, you talk, I'll listen. Get it out of your system. Nothing leaves this kitchen. Yeah, I got your back and giving it back, girl, till we get through it. That's just how we do it. This time, you do all the crying. I'll pour the wine. sure where that came from. A little red medicine, a good Sonoma buzz, gonna pick you up and help you forget all about it. We got all night, girl, you talk on listen, get it out of your system, nothing leaves this kitchen. Yeah, I got your back and giving it back, girl, till we get through it. That's just how we do it. This time, you do all the crying. I'll pour the wine.
Get a canner.
Yeah, yeah. Woo! We got all night, girl, you talk on listen, get it out of your system, nothing leaves this kitchen. Yeah, got your back and giving it back, girl, till we get through it. That's just how we do it. This time, you do crying, let it all go flying. I'll pour the wine. Oh yeah, I'll pour the wine anytime. Got 2 boxes here, they're stashed under the sink. One's for wiping tears and the other one's for drinking.
Yeah.
Anyone got any?
Yeah, where's the wine? If you are drinking at home right now, I applaud you.
It's a little early.
It's a
but we
little
don't
early.
judge.
Who knows where they're tuning in from, actually, so I don't know. But we're going to play a brand new one that we just released on Spotify. It's a song that is kind of our, I would say this is our little anthem right now. We're just trying to stay in the positivity and the good vibes, and you can go stream it on everywhere. Mm-hmm. This one's called Light On. Montana.
Every day is a leap of faith sometimes. Wake up, wondering why I'm here. Feels like it's all for nothing, but as soon as you come in the room, it's like somebody turned on the light. I know it ain't gonna be easy, but it's gonna be alright. This road we're on is winding along. No one knows where it's going to. It's hard and it's broken. When I get where I'm going, the first thing I'm gonna do is leave the light on, the light on for you, yeah. This world is spinning so fast that we get lost in the traffic, and the static doesn't sound much like music, but when we dance to it, it all stands still. And I know somehow we will get through it. Me and you just keep rolling like there's nothing to it. The road we're on is winding along. destination, I'll be waiting for you. If you get there before me, won't you leave the light on, the light on, light on, yeah. Leave the light on for you, yeah. Woo. When I get to my destination, I'll be waiting for you. If you get there before me, won't you leave the light on? I'll leave the light on for you. Come on, Santa. Yeah.
Are we live? Yeah. We're live! Woo! Welcome back, y'all, to Off the Record Live. I am still Joe Vito. We are still here with the Wildcards.
Give it up for Joe Vito.
Give it up for me, folks!
And your
Thank
mustache.
you. And my mustache.
I saw
Thank you.
the comments. There were some fire emojis. They were all for you.
Lisa, our editor, is not on the mustache train, but I am just time and time again.
Lisa
proving.
better watch out. We're gonna put her on camera.
Well, folks, you've been watching at home. We've been seeing you coming in. You guys are sending in questions. You're sending in comments. We're loving it, and we love it so much that we're gonna cut to the cat chat cam
She's so
and get some questions coming in.
Thanks, Joe. We've got a really good one from Squid Dog 1, who really enjoyed Pour the Wine. They want to know, let's see here. So the illusion of drinking in the kitchen reminds Squid Dog 1 of the line in Desperados Waiting for a Train. Do you guys have a favorite Guy Clark song?
You go. You're smart. I can't think of one. You know who our guitar player is a huge Guy Clark fan. He would know.
So he is watching this angrily.
Yes,
that we
can't
have
think of
the
one. But
good
I would
answer.
ask Squid Dog. Is it Squid Dog? Squid Dog 1. Comment what your favorite Guy Clark song is, and maybe we need to learn it for our next. We do Wildcard Wednesdays sometimes on our Instagram. And we always are having people suggest what songs we should sing.
We do what we're told.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So send us.
Send us your favorite Guy Clark song or any
we'll do
song, and we'll try to work it up.
There you go. Big shout out. Shout out to Squid Dog 2. That's a great choice. I love Guy Clark. LA Freeway. It's a great song.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. That's
Desperados Waiting on a Train. Great song.
Yeah.
He's got one song. I think it's called The Randall Knife. Amazing.
See?
Great stuff going on. Do we have any more coming in from chat, Catherine?
We do. We have an interesting one from TCB Everyday, who wants to know, how would you describe your fans?
Partiers.
We like to have fun with our fans, and we don't even like the word fans because they are one with us. They are, as we were saying before, it's really like the dynamic of them inspiring us. And so I think the people that are, consumers of our music are very much a part of the music as well.
It's basically whoever wants to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I personally want to give a shout out to Dre Blouses, who gave me a shout out for my mustache.
Yes.
Thank you, Dre Blouses. Or Dr.
Joey.
E Blouses, depending on how
There
you
you go.
pronounce it. All right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, maybe it's Digital
smart,
Blouses,
Joe.
Dr. E Blouses. Who knows?
So smart.
Who knows? But shout out to you. Thank you for validating me. Now, we're going to dive back to some questions I want to ask you all. And one is, I know that you mentioned that it was kind of the pandemic that really kind of brought you together to be like, let's dive into this. Let's
Yeah.
really pour
Yeah.
all into it. I just want to give you the floor and tell us a bit focused now.
Yeah.
What was the pandemic experience
Yeah.
like for y'all? What was it like kind of adapting to that like crazy world
Yeah.
of interacting and doing the remote thing while launching a creative process like that?
I think a lot of artists felt the pressure to release or to engage in platforms that they weren't really familiar with. We really just wanted to stay true to what we did, and that's why we wrote and created as
We
much
were kind
as
of
we
doing
could.
more of like a behind the scenes pandemic experience musically.
It really kind of was able to give us the birth of the Wildcards, but I think that we both really enjoyed the ability of time to get it right and to not rush the process and to feel what we were feeling and put that into our music. And we did some like drive-in shows, which were kind of weird, where people are beeping.
Nothing like when the first time when they all honked their horns at the end of the song, and I was like,
It was so weird.
is something gonna happen?
But it was nice. The drive-in shows
Terrifying.
were good because it was during the day and I just wore sunglasses and I didn't even put makeup on.
Oh, there were a lot of braids, not doing hair.
Like they're so far away from us that we're like, okay, we can probably get away with, not putting makeup on for the show.
There we go.
Girls, you know what we're saying. But we're just so happy that we were able to get back and do shows and, be with people. But I will.
It took a while for that to happen,
Yeah, it
but
did.
once things started to kind of
But there was one particular thing.
What was the one particular thing?
It's kind of the first gig.
what are you gonna say?
No. This is good. You're gonna know what I'm saying.
Disclaimer banner.
This is the first gig that started the Wildcards. Was actually in Orange County, California. We have friends that are part of a boating community and basically yachting community. Bougie.
Shout out Catalina Island.
Yeah,
Yacht
so they
Club.
wanted to do a COVID social distancing COVID show off the back of a very large, beautiful boat. And so that's what we did. We went to Catalina Island, Avalon, and we have a picture of it on our Instagram. We performed off the back of the boat with like speakers going off the back of the boat, and everyone like drove up on their dinghies.
So they could still maintain their
Yeah,
distance
paddle
from each other.
boards. There was like a giant car that people were like floating in. It was
There were
just
floating
the
coolers that people were like pushing between. It was
so cool. And so
wild.
that was much better than the drive-in shows because we got to be
A boat-in shows.
a boat show. Yeah, it was really cool. And then after the show, they like paraded us around on the dinghy, and we got to go like wave to people like we were Miss America or something. And
Oh my gosh.
it's just fun. I mean, I think that the one thing that pandemic allowed us to do is really find our creative sides and just.
Well, I mean, we were not only find it, but I think that things had changed so much too because the first thing that happened is once we did the 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks where no one could, when no one was supposed to leave their house. After that, every show we had evaporated. And so it was only the most ingenious people who came up with the ideas for the drive-ins, for this, the yacht party and all these other things. And there were ways to kind of not only keep us creating, but keep us employed.
Yeah.
Literally keep us afloat. And all the way around.
Songwriters,
She has
folks.
to.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, on that note, I want to take the time now to maybe we can dive in and you can kind of, what is your writing process like when you all really get into the beef of it like these days? Do you get in, is it like a therapy session? Is it like you come up with things to begin with and then you kind of like develop an idea together? What does it look like?
It involves wine most of the time.
That's awesome.
And we want to be comfortable and like we just speak the words out loud and sometimes it's a melody, sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a
It's a little bit
title.
of everything
Yeah.
you said. I mean, sometimes we're prepped because we have some kind of great idea, and then other times it literally is a therapy session.
And we love being able to collaborate with our friends. We have such a great crew of songwriters here in Nashville that we, if you have something that you think someone would really enjoy to write with you, you kind of bring them in. And a lot of people don't know that it is a profession. Like there are people here in Nashville that write songs every day. And sometimes when you are, in that writing role, in the mode, you're writing with strangers. You're writing with someone that you've never met before, and you have to tell them your deepest, darkest secrets. So it's a little bit scary and liberating at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you get the liberation.
Yes.
You get a song like Light On.
Yeah.
Where you get to turn around and sing it, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it's such a cathartic feeling. Like
It
you guys
is,
said
yeah.
earlier, even you guys
Yeah.
sing it to each other on stage.
Yeah,
I mean, that's as
100%.
palpable as it
Yeah.
can be in terms of expression. Wow. Well, one question I wanted to ask about that song is, I know that I read online, kind of like reading about y'all's story, or it couldn't even have been the interview y'all
Yeah.
did with Catherine
With Kat.
on American Songwriters
Yes,
website,
go
which
check
you
it
can
out.
go read after this broadcast. But
And the video is on that link as well in the article, so they can check that
it's
out.
all there, folks. You can find it all. One space. That's how easy we made it for you. But something I loved about that story is it kind of talked about how the song kind of began in one place, being about like kind of your appreciation for your community here in
Yeah.
Nashville and
Yeah.
all that. And then it grew into a more universal thing over the course of the pandemic and
Yeah.
kind of like the new worldview that something
Yeah.
like that gives you. What can you tell us about that kind of like evolution, or even
Yeah.
how like one song can go on a journey like that?
Yeah.
It kind of happened, I think, when we were playing shows and just seeing the way people were reacting to the song. I think in the beginning, there would be people coming up afterwards and saying, wow, that really gave me a lot of hope. I think about how much I appreciate my family, and this song makes me think of that. And then as time went on and we're in the pandemic comes, it meant a whole different thing. We've had people say that it makes them think of mental health in general, and how having that support system
Yeah.
around you can really protect you and bring you up. And so we sing it for all these different reasons.
I specifically think about, there's an organization called Music Cares here in Nashville, and they were super amazing, especially in the pandemic. They look out for people in the music industry that, aren't making enough money to, if they have emergency health issues or whatnot. And it's people like that with that organization and, other organizations that really look out for this creative, as creators, we are very highly emotional, and mental health is huge. And everyone, we're in a society of everyone's fine, everything's fine. But it's okay not to be okay. And we lean on, the people that we love to kind of bring us into the light. And that's just, I think.
If we didn't know that before, we learned it in 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I guess at that point too, it must be so cool to be able to even be an artist in the 2020s, where you can turn around and be on things like Twitch or be on social
Yeah.
media and interact with people
Yeah.
on those fronts and all
Absolutely.
that. Oh wow, it's so cool.
We're in so many places at once right now. It's cool.
That's cool.
Where's everybody from, by the way? This is really...
I was looking at it. We had some
Yeah.
people who were from New York, some people from Austin,
Cool.
some people from South Carolina. We got the cat cam telling us where we're all from.
Look at that.
Do you have any other geographic locations we want to give a shout out to?
Well, obviously Nashville.
Oh, there you
We have
go.
one in-
Yes.
did you say New York?
Yes,
One in
New York. Yeah, there you go.
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Cool.
My hometown, folks.
Oh, nice.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, well, it's like they're here with us in the studio. This is so cool.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Well, kind of bringing this towards the end of our conversation today, what can you tell us about what y'all are like working on now? What does the future look like for the Wildcards?
I would say like one phrase is, it's just the beginning. Literally, we're a baby band here, and it's so exciting because we're able to kind of do it together, and we have little pieces of knowledge from past experiences that we've had in this business that, some of them we want to grasp onto, some of them we want to just let go and start anew. So it's going to be a really cool journey, and I think the cool thing about people that are with us in this process now is that they'll be able to kind of see it from the beginning into whatever's next. I think, making a record is probably first.
A full band record. We have more things that we've already made that we're going to be releasing to kind of check back for. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell any secrets, but I think too, probably touring more heavily in the fall is one of our goals.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so exciting. Wow. Well, I want to throw it to Kat and see, do we have anything from chat we would like to ask?
We actually have a really interesting fan question that I want to know myself. This is for Andrea. So since you started at 2 years old playing the violin, how big was your violin? This is from a user named Abby U26.
That's a good question.
It was very, very tiny. It was like this
Oh
long.
my gosh, we need to post a picture on our Instagram.
My mom has it.
Okay, we're gonna have to do
so
that.
we'll
Check back.
I'll get it at Christmas and I'll bring it back. It's so cute. But it's only they have different sizes and they do it in fractions, and I think it was a 16th
Oh my
of
gosh.
what a full size is 1/16. So
Oh
it
my-
actually it sounded okay.
I've never asked you that. I don't even know that.
Tiny violin. Actually, I'm curious too, now that we're on the topic of the violin, it is one thing to like play violin and then kind of another thing to do like the kind of fiddling that you do in
Yeah.
this group. How did you kind of come to that? Were you like really fully raised like in the classical tradition and then at some point kind of like made a switch? And
Oh,
then,
100%. I mean,
was it like learning a new instrument or what was that like?
it was learning how to break all the rules and do the things everyone's been telling me not to do the whole time.
Be a
that
wild
was,
card.
That was hard. But it was, my dad loves fiddle music, and so he would always beg me to play some fiddle, and I would be like, $5 a song, $5.
You were making life in the beginning.
Yes, hustling.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible. Wow. Even now, I'm only asking this too because I come from a classical background myself with my own music, and I find that having that like foundation of
Yeah.
just theory is like so helpful. Do you find that's helpful when you come to like a situation?
Yeah, especially for, number charts and all those kind of things. It really does come in handy. Being able to transpose quickly, I think, helps too, especially if you're going to play for someone else and they change the key 5 times before they figure out what they want to do it in.
Yeah. And Ashley, did you have any kind of background in like classical?
Yeah,
Kind of like
no.
did you like do like vocal singing or anything like that?
I mean, yeah. So I started to obviously sing when I was young, and then I started to I took piano lessons when I was younger, and tried to take more of a classical approach to vocal lessons to kind of learn how to preserve my voice. But I quickly found that that wasn't my style of singing.
But don't worry,
And-
she can sing anything.
No,
Put
no.
in your request now.
No, but it
Put 'em
was.
in! Put 'em in now!
I kind of was, the word "the wild cards" keeps coming up in our lives because I was a little bit of a rebel too when I started to discover what my own sound was going to be. And I decided I want to learn to play the acoustic guitar, and I think I was 12 or 13. Went to my first lesson and decided that I didn't like lessons. And I just wanted to teach myself how to play.
So we're trying to tell you what to
Yeah.
do.
No, that's not cool with me. So I just started like Googling my favorite songs and figuring them out. I think it was, in the days of like Green Day was really popular.
oh,
That
yeah.
really angsty 90s pop stuff. So I was really diving into that, and I still really don't know what I'm doing, but
Well, it sounds like you do, and that's what matters.
You know what you're doing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, that's so cool, and it's so cool getting to sit here and talk to you guys and kind of learn a bit about the story and learn
yes.
about the really cool synthesis of all these different musical worlds that y'all have like straddled at different
Yeah.
times, and you bring it all together. It's been such a joy getting to
Thank you.
step into the world of the wild cards.
Thank you. It's so good to hang with you today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you
Oh
so
my gosh.
much.
Well, I am out of questions, folks, but do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers at home?
I mean, it's just beginning for us. So we hope to see you all again. We're on Twitch. I don't know how to follow. You might be able to say how to follow people.
I don't know how to follow people.
We're on Twitch. You can play the wild cards. But we're also on
a button you can
Instagram.
click.
And yeah. You can go to playthewildcards.com, and all of our stuff is right there. We'd love for you guys to stream the new music and look out for more stuff to come.
Drop us a line too. We'd love to connect with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drop them a line, folks. All right. Well, Andrea and Ashley, it's been such a joy
Thank
speaking with you
you.
guys today. I want to thank the Wildcards for stopping by and giving us this awesome performance and this awesome conversation. I want to thank Neon Media, American songwriter, and Twitch for being our host in the digital realm.
Yes.
I want to thank Starstruck Entertainment for being our host in the brick and mortar and giving us this awesome backdrop to bring this to you. And I'd like to thank you at home for watching this, for tuning in, for sending in questions, for making this the awesome community of musicians and music lovers that this is. Please keep coming. Please keep subscribing and following, and send us a line too. We're around. We love you.
We love you.
Oh my gosh. gosh. Well, folks, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I'm Joe Vito. Good night. I love you.
Bye.